morning, viewers from across the globe. Today is Friday, July 31st. South Africa's Consul General in Lagos, Professor Bobby Moore, is calling for healing and reconciliation between Nigeria and South Africa, declaring that Nigeria stood with South Africa when the world was silent and funded their freedom. And in a stunning development, media mogul Oprah Winfrey has announced that her school for girls in South Africa, which she co-founded with the late President Nelson Mandela 20 years ago, will close in 2027. And shocking scenes as massive crowds of migrants were filmed crossing from Morocco into Spain, prompting local leaders to call on Madrid to declare a national emergency. Let's dive in. I'm OjyOkpe, and this is what's trending. Before we dive deeper, let's see what you're talking about right now. We've been tracking conversations on X, Facebook, our YouTube live feed, and of course, Leke. And 3 stories are dominating your timelines this morning. Trending at number 1, devastating flood waters submerged the Benin-Ore Expressway on Thursday, bringing traffic to a total standstill. With queues stretching several kilometers, Nigerians are reacting with disbelief. Trending at number 2, dozens of residents in Asaba Delta State were caught on camera scrambling with buckets and jerry cans to scoop fuel directly from a leaking tanker, in complete disregard for the danger of a catastrophic explosion. We have the details. Now, trending at number 3, a 19-year-old woman has been sentenced to death by hanging in Kano State after being convicted of killing her 30-year-old husband just 9 days after their wedding, igniting fierce debate online about child marriage and age gaps in early marriages. Now, here is where you come in. Join the conversation. Use the hashtag What's Trending with OjyOkpe. Comment on our live feed and, of course, Leke. Tell me which of these stories matters most to you, because for the next hour, we're going into everything that has Nigeria and the rest of the world buzzing. But first, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive to state governors to stop wasting state revenues on unnecessary flyovers and channel funds into road networks that actually improve lives has been met with mixed reactions. Let's watch.
You have governed before as the governor. You need to help us communicate to these governors. Today, the economy of operation is high. More the money that I'm pushing to the states, if you had it during your own time or during my time, it would have been different. They are taking 4 to 5 times their money in the past. Nobody is borrowing money to pay salaries now. Pensioners are receiving their pay and gratuity. And they should do more to, instead of fly over where there's no numeric traffic, build roads and arteries network to really enhance the quality of life and the accessibility of the security agencies to penetrate those areas. I will be calling the meetings of so many of you traditional leaders to offer to listen to you and offer some suggestions. And throughout the country, I'll do that. Find time to listen to that. The immediate challenge is monumental. It's not an easy job, but to me, I asked for the job and I got it. You gave me the support, and I got to do it. I accept the asset and liability of my predecessor. So that's the challenge of today.
All right, the president was speaking at the Asaba Villa during a courtesy visit by the Olubadan of Ibadanland, Oba Rashidi Ladoja. The president was essentially telling state governors that they now have more money than any administration has ever given them. So they have no excuse of insufficient funds. Well, 3 tiers of government received at least 53.3 trillion naira from FAAC between March 2023 and May 2026. And with all allocations 4 to 5 times higher than before, the argument that states cannot afford basic road infrastructure is becoming harder to sustain. But some Nigerians online are noting the irony, saying that a federal government that has been criticized for infrastructure prioritization is now lecturing state governors on spending. We'll take some reactions, but first, good morning to everyone. It's the end of the month. Dr. Abati, Ayo, Rufai.
End of the week.
And, oh yeah, my favorite day of the week, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Yes, we are able to access more funds now, and the state governors should be, held responsible at this time. But I'll just take one reaction. Rufai, you're smiling, and I'll come to you. And I think the president spoke very well. Golden Sun wrote, he is right. More than 80% of the governors in Nigeria lack vision. All they do is build flyovers in the state capitals. And to them, that's development. There is no vision, no clear development plan for the state or other local governments. Nothing, just a set of mediocrities. I mean, I think that we did celebrate a flyover recently. Which one was that? It was Benin. Oh, did you talk about that?
I know, off air, we're saying that.
We did celebrate a flyover.
A school excursion.
No, it was a school excursion. But the president is saying, okay, no more. Please just build roads that can improve lives, not all of these flyovers. But I'll just read through the stories, so we can discuss everything. The president also addressed security concerns during the meeting with Oba Ladoja. Tinubu opened up about the Oriire rescue, saying the government knew the geography of the forest and knew where the criminals were. So paying ransom was never an option.
We refused to negotiate for ransom, negotiate. These criminals wanted us to release from detention members of their criminal gangs that were already arrested. That was one of their conditions, outside of the money they're looking for. And I said, no deal. We are not going to negotiate with criminals. They committed murder, and we were ready to finish with their families and members of their own communities too. They go somewhere. Some of them that are non-Nigerians. You see the problem of insecurity in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger Republic is adding more fuel to our challenges. In fact, that is why we must enhance the capacity of the forest guards as well as create the state police.
Meanwhile, Oba Ladoja praised Tinubu's no-ransom policy, saying the fact that he refused to pay ransom shows that Nigeria now has a government that knows what it is doing. Let's take a look.
When we had the problem of the kidnapping, which was about the first major one in Oyo State, we were apprehensive. We are saying, what is the government doing? What is the federal government doing? What is the Oyo State government doing? But we now found that between you and your security people, to which I'm going to thank them through you, you have made a turning point in the issue of kidnapping in Nigeria. The fact that you did not pay ransom, the fact that you stood your ground, shows that yes, you now have a government that knows what it's doing. So, Mr. President, we cannot thank you enough.
Well, Oba Ladoja's endorsement carries significant weight as a traditional ruler whose community lived through the anxiety of that 56-day ordeal. However, reactions to President Tinubu's no-ransom stance have been sharply divided online. Those in support say the Oriire rescue proves that standing firm works and that paying ransom only emboldens criminals and funds future attacks. Those opposing are asking a harder question, saying if the government knew the geography of the forest and knew where the criminals were, why did it take 56 days to rescue the victims? And I'll take a post on X. Credit where it's due. Refusing to pay ransom and forcing the release of the Oyo school children without negotiation is a real shift. If this becomes the consistent national approach instead of one-off, it could actually change the game. The real test is whether the forests stay secured after the cameras leave. Rufai, I'll come to you. For me, I thought that the president spoke as like the commander-in-chief that he is in this meeting with the Olubadan of Ibadanland. And I thought, for me, I would like to see more of this from the president, talking tough, you know, stating how the strategy went through, the process of rescuing these victims alive, bringing them back home. Your thoughts?
I mean, like I said this morning earlier, I gave him commendation.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy. He spoke tough. You know, that we didn't pay ransom. I'm happy. You know, because what it does is psychologically damages those that ask for ransom. All right? And these kidnappers and these bandits, these terrorists. I'm happy. But Oji, about this morning, go and check the news. The people that have been kidnapping Moroe since February, Abi, the bandits rejected the 155 million. Till today, we've not released them, and the bandits are saying they're going to kill them. In Borno, the kids of those children are still there. They were kidnapped almost at the same time. And you see, the reason why I'm advocating for those in Borno is that it looks as though there was a concerted media effort at Oriire. I would have expected that also in Borno, so that those kids too are released. Oji, almost everywhere around the country, kidnapping one way or the other. In fact, it's grossly underreported insecurity. I told Dr. Abati about a case this morning that was not reported in mainstream media, but it happened. So there are many cases like that, and we want the president to get ahead of them. Secondly, as regards this subsidy money that they say some people are building bridges and all of that, you see, if the president is throwing stones at governors that are building flyover, we can also throw stones too at him. Yes. At a time where there were other roads left undone, people can also point to the coastal road too. Because the money that has been earmarked totally to fixing the coastal road could have fixed other pre-existing roads in the country. I've been be so. Sure. So, but the most important thing that we should now look at here is how that money is spent. And that's why, based on history, I don't know, and this one, Dr. Abati, you know law and all of that. I would have wanted a case where that money that was collected in savings was not given directly to the states. There will have been a special drawing needs assessment for that money. You know why? We have seen governors squander money. Excess crude account, you remember how governors fought that they should give them the money? What did they do with the money? Months after they gave them that excess crude money, or years after they gave them the excess crude money, what happened? They were asking for bailout from the Buhari's government.
All right.
So they never spend the money well in the end. They just make themselves richer and all of that.
All right, Dr. Bati.
Okay, I will not subscribe to a situation whereby the federal government holds on to states for funds and will say we'll give them funds on a needs assessment basis. Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution is very clear. All distributable funds go into the pool, and then there is a federal revenue sharing allocation formula. So the states will get what is their due. the local governments will get their own, the federal government. You may argue against the sharing formula. But I think what is important about the point the president made is about the responsibility of the state governments. Most of the time, even on television or elsewhere, we tend to hold the federal government responsible for everything, even what the federal government is not responsible for. Now, the counter-argument is that these states too, they are getting more revenue. So what are they doing with that revenue? Can you go to the states, for example, and say, oh, this state got so much money within this period. What they've done in this state, is it commensurate with the revenue that is accruing to the state? Don't forget, they get from the federal allocation. They also get what they call IGR. Yeah. And some of these states are really very rich. But we don't see, commensurate level of development in the states. And that's why we often say that the state houses of assembly should wake up. Many of these state houses of assembly, they've become an extension of the government house. All of them are going up and down. Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency. That's all they do. These ignorant people in our state houses of assembly. So we should look at the leadership recruitment process for these state houses of assembly. We should make sure also that, recruitment into those houses of assembly will be people who are competent. Yeah. People that have been chosen by the people, who can stand up and ask the governor questions. Many of these governors, they are overlords. Nobody is asking them any questions in terms of their performance. So just as we hold the federal government accountable, we should also ask for greater accountability at the state government level. As the president saying, we will not pay ransom, we will not negotiate. That's a refreshing departure from the days of Ashoebi, when they used to give pepper soup and jollof rice.
Are they not doing that anymore?
Well, this government says we do not pay ransom, and we don't.
No, Ashoebi is a rehabilitation program.
It's different.
There is still rehabilitation program.
But they are not pampering them as the
former. They still did one the other day. Yes, now.
But the format is different.
Terrorists are still graduating for school of rehabilitation.
No, the format is different. The format is different.
They took cloth in the last one.
I think the sense of it is that this administration has spoken tougher on terrorists and terrorism that we've had in previous administration, when it seemed almost as if we were pampering terrorists and begging them to come out so that they can, be rehabilitated and we'll give them a better life, even though they have destroyed the lives of many people in Nigeria. But yes, I said earlier that the president was right, and that as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, as leader, not monarch-in-chief, commander-in-chief, he has done very well. And this is a strong message to the terrorists that based on efforts, based on security efforts by this administration, there would come a time whereby there would be no hiding place for any terrorist. This is the kind of messaging that we must continue to push out, backed by action. And the president at this meeting used the opportunity to enumerate some of the efforts he has made: state police, widening of the division, or increasing from 8 divisions in the army to 12 divisions. Very well, and said. But Oji, it's not just for the presidency to say that they don't pay ransom. Can we also ensure that we provide an environment, enabling environment for people not to feel compelled to pay ransom? So in many instances, beyond the federal government negotiating or paying ransoms themselves, the people are compelled because they do not have enough response or do not feel like the security operatives are able to rescue their loved ones. So we've seen fundraising, GoFundMe, people coming together to pay ransom to rescue their loved ones. That would be the next step to ensure that there's confidence in the hearts of Nigerians to know that the president has got you. The security, the military, they've got you covered. If anyone is found, mistakenly, it shouldn't even get to the point of kidnapping. But if at all it does happen, we will get your people back, irrespective of who you are. You do not have to have a name. You do not have to be a public figure. We will ensure that your loved one is rescued. That is where we should be getting to. Finally, I think the point you made around the fact that porosity of borders was also brought up. That is that some of the criminal elements that were arrested in Oriire were found not to be Nigerian. And so we've talked about the fact that, Mali Mali, Burkina Faso, these neighboring areas, some of their criminals have been able to come through the Nigerian borders because of porosity of borders. So if we're fighting against terrorism, we've talked about the multi-pronged approach. Part of it will be securing our borders better to ensure that we do not import criminal elements who are not subject to the state. I think these are some of the critical parts of the conversation. But on the fight against terrorism, we are supporting the armed forces. We are supporting the efforts of the president in this regard because the benefit is for all of us. We gain nothing by wishing that, it will fail so that we will show up that the president is not working well. We want it to work. We want Nigerians to feel safe and secure, and we encourage the president to continue in his efforts to ensure that we do feel safe and secure.
Great strides with the president is on your mandate. I mean, I love it. Can I stand? Today is Friday. It's okay, we can stand. Go ahead, you like it?
On your mandate.
I'm waiting for you.
On your mandate. Bola, on your mandate. We shall stand. Bola.
Kudos to the president on this one. I mean, what?
It's your right to make a choice.
What choice?
And you just voted for the president.
No,
on your mandate.
Okay, all right. We told
Atiku Bola on your mandate.
That's why I like the song. That's all it is. I'm praising the president. I'm praising the president. That's all I'm doing. For now, okay. All right. For me, this is the biggest thing.
He can do that.
But we told you.
You have PVC. Just use your PVC.
Right.
Don't give conditions.
Can we continue? All right. We told our viewers. Can we continue?
Go ahead.
To put your PVC where your mouth is.
Tomatoes.
We told our viewers we will be reading their comments. And I would like to take a comment on Leke about the president telling the state governors not to build flyovers. And this is from Tracy on Leke. She wrote, our president just spoke well about the flyovers building. I don't know if the flyovers would reduce fuel price and put food on our tables, or if the flyovers would be a replacement for the bad roads. I mean, this is another comment that we got. Thank you very much to our viewers on Leke. We'll continue to highlight your comments. Meanwhile, floodwaters submerged a significant stretch of the Benin-Ore Expressway, bringing traffic to a complete standstill on Thursday, leaving motorists and residents totally stranded in queues stretching several kilometers. The onslaught of flooding came after hours of heavy rainfall. Let's take a look. This is quite alarming. The Benin-Ore corridor is one of Nigeria's most strategically vital transport routes, serving as the primary link for passengers, goods, and petroleum products moving between the southwest, south-south, and southeast regions. The Federal Ministry of Works and the relevant authorities must treat this as an emergency. And as I was playing that, I just received a message from the Ministry of Work, from the minister himself, actually. It says the Ondo flooding is because of a silted culvert at that location and climate change. I have directed Ondo controller to immediately commence remedial works over there, and we shall construct additional culvert to contain new flood increase because of climate change. Thank you for the good work. But obviously, that's the comment, and thanks for that response. But
I keep saying it. Yeah. I say it maybe as an encouragement to other public service holders or people who hold that the response of Engineer Dave Umahi ought to be applauded. Say what you might about him, he has come under a lot of criticism, but there's a lot of accountability and response which we don't get from many. How many ministers do Nigerians know? How many of the ministers who just sit in office and we don't hear anything about the work they do? We criticize their ministry, they just ignore it, they don't bother because they don't feel responsible to the people. So say what you may this morning, I keep on saying it, that let him be an example to other ministers and people who who are held in public trust or who hold office in public trust, this is commendable. Thank you. And we will also watch out to see that what you have said, you know, you put, you know, your money where your mouth is, but great one on that one. I keep saying that we need more accountability. We need more responsiveness from public service holders.
Fantastic. Very well said. Very well said.
Yes. We need more responsiveness.
I getting comments from our YouTube viewers.
No, it's not
comments?
It's not YouTube from our
go
YouTube viewers. We need more accountability and everything. But the truth is, we should not also ensure that that's something they call scenario planning in advance, where you hazard worst case scenarios. We should not also just look and say, oh, it is when it's now gone bad, we are not saying we want to remedy it. Next time, we should be thinking ahead.
All right.
Because now that we are blaming global warming, it's not today we've been talking about global warming since a very long time coming. We should have postulated that we might have sections of this that we fail. I mean, we're in this country, because how many years ago, about 3, 4, 5 years ago, that because of this flooding, East-West Road was cut off. So we should have started envisaging that was going to happen. So we are also going to watch when it does that culvert so that we come and talk about it here for accountability purposes.
Very well said.
So,
very well said.
The point I was saying, and I still maintain that, is that earlier today we talked about the resident doctors going on strike. We won't hear anything from the Minister of Health. We talk about the Ministry of Poverty Eradication, Human,
maybe capital. If they have your number.
No, it's not about number. I'm even saying he doesn't.
Maybe if they have your number, they will have sent
it. It's not about my personal number.
But it's okay because we're journalists.
They should have our number. Yeah, so if they have
a number, they can get it.
Yes,
I am saying it doesn't take away anything from what you're saying, but what I am still doubling down on is that there's still responsiveness from him that we don't get.
Yes.
I mean, that's certain. Nobody has stopped that. But maybe if they have access. So other ministers too, you can get our numbers here if you want, so that your own position too will be put forward.
Yeah. We can always reach out to them. It's also your responsibility. We can always reach out to every ministry. They all have their public information out there. Reach out to them. That's what I do before I come on set. I try to make sure that I get responses from every ministry before I present a story. But you know, when I saw the story, I was quite alarmed because I asked my producer, I mean, was it a dam? I thought it was a dam because it did look very, very strange. It didn't look like what we had seen before. So it's good that the minister has come out now to say that it was a slated culvert that caused that. And we're hoping for that repair to be done urgently. Now, a deeply alarming video out of Delta State is spreading across social media, showing dozens of residents scrambling and rushing with buckets, jerry cans, and containers to scoop fuel directly from a leaking tanker. The incident took place along the City Gate area of Asaba, in complete disregard of the danger of a catastrophic explosion. Let's take a look.
Happening live, fuel, you know, a tank, I don't. And come on, Asaba.
Dr. But you were asking a question before.
Okay, I saw that tanker is standing. So what exactly could have been the problem with it?
Yes.
But what we can establish is that the fuel tanker was leaking and Nigerians scooping fuel, carrying all kinds of objects. There have been many incidents in that same Delta State. I think you remember the famous JC incident when people were scooping fuel, free fuel, and they were all incinerated. And there have been similar incidents in other parts of Nigeria. So the average Nigerian is so suicidal. And I repeat the point again. Where were the security agencies while all of this was going on? Why is it that nobody alerted the security agencies? Because in Nigeria, attempted suicide is a crime. If you go and attempt suicide of any sort, just as these people were doing, it's the responsibility of the state to apprehend you and send you to prison. However, if you succeed in committing suicide, you are free.
I like when you always warn our viewers.
Yes.
Just know that.
Yes, because if they had succeeded in the suicide attempt here, they will all have been incinerated, the tanker will have exploded, and that will be the end of the story. So there's also vigilance on the part of the state. Now it's become futile to continue to recommend that we should be educating people, public education. These people that are in that picture, they are old enough to know that petrol is an inflammable material and that they could all just be, be killed in an instant. Some people will say poverty, that fuel now is 1,300 naira per liter as a result of Middle East crisis. But that poverty should not be a justification for suicide, for people putting themselves in the line of fire deliberately.
All right, very well said. A sentence quickly.
Real quickly, Dr. Abati, yes, we can blame the people all we want, but where are the authorities? If a tanker is stationary is leaking, authorities should be made to come there, cordon off the area as soon as possible to be able to avert this. We can't keep saying, oh, the people. We must also have authorities to enforce that they do the needful. Not only the security agencies, but the emergency agencies that will ensure that there's a cordon of all those areas to forestall bigger challenges.
All right.
We need to start also calling on those authorities.
Because that's it's true.
I am just directly to the
from
point.
somebody.
You are stealing.
We keep blaming the government. I just saw the name of the oil company there. Like Dr. Abati said, nothing happened to that tanker. You are taking advantage of someone's business. But when it is the government now, we say government is stealing, means that many Nigerians are just waiting for opportunity to get into government to begin to steal. They should just steal someone's fuel because it's in distress. It's horrible. So there are many crimes that they are guilty of. I understand all the things, but we ourselves must take responsibility. We have to talk to ourselves and tell ourselves the truth. Why should you take advantage of somebody's misfortune?
All right, we have to move.
They steal because there are no appropriate
measures. There's no justification for stealing.
No,
period.
Secondly, Oji, there's no justification for stealing.
Very good. All right.
But the truth is, when you open your door down and somebody comes in and steals, and you don't put appropriate justification. No, I'm not blaming the victim. I am saying the government authorities must be able to get people to get out there to forestall things like this. It's just as simple as ABC.
I like that point about emergency services.
That's what we're saying. Yes.
Have emergency
forestall that.
Somebody also needs to alert the emergency agencies.
But you know, in America, we have emergency services all around, just in case of stuff like that. It's good to. We're talking about advocacy. We're speaking. Yeah, this is it as well. So I understand your point, but like you said, those people are thieves. Only.
They do it a lot.
Why would you steal someone's property? Well, all right. The xenophobic crisis in South Africa has intensified this week following the brutal and alleged killing of a Nigerian national, Chika Ibe, by security forces. Now, a new video filmed by a Nigerian woman showing fresh anti-immigrant protests erupting on the streets of South Africa is sparking fierce debate online. In the video, the woman declared that South Africans have started again. Let's take a look.
Now, wow. Hey, Africa has started again. Hey, how can they make it out? 29 July. Yeah, July 2026. I have watched channel so get me paper show. That is no be small thing. And I know about that one day one topic, one day one problem is well.
This is disgraceful. Despite 5 repatriation flights, diplomatic meetings, and calls for calm, the streets of South Africa are telling a different story. Meanwhile, this is all coming as South Africa's Consul General in Lagos, Professor Bobby Moore, is calling for healing and reconciliation between Nigeria and South Africa, telling a business forum in Lagos on Thursday that Nigeria stood with South Africa when the world was silent and funded their freedom. He further asked how a single moment of anger could erase decades of solidarity, urging both nations to fall in love again with each other's land. I mean, these are powerful words by Professor Moroe, that's his name, and he is right. that Nigeria and South Africa share a deep bond, but that bond must be backed by justice, accountability, and genuine protection for Nigerians living in South Africa. You had a question.
How?
What?
No. See,
what was your question?
Full disclaimer. Bobby is my friend. How do you want Nigeria and South Africa to fall in love again when the government of South Africa has been aiding all of this level of criminality against Nigeria? When somebody came here, a South African representative, what's that guy's name? Lamole. Lamole. When he came here and he started telling us to our face, I mean Lamole. When when he came here, and after he left here, they went to write on their website that, criminals, drug peddlers, and all of that. When they came here, they did all sorts of things. When a South African minister was openly saying they will not pay compensation to people's property that were taken, how, Bobby, do you want us to fall in love?
Okay, but you can't blame Professor Moroe. He's a diplomat. Consul General of South Africa to Nigeria, speaking to a group of Nigerians at a breakfast meeting. He's doing his job. He's a diplomat.
I think he spoke very well.
So diplomats,
the other ministers or the people that have been speaking about this whole crisis in South Africa, I think he spoke very well.
Oh no,
calling for peace and unity.
And he's repeating a script, which is a South African script, because South Africa has embarked on diplomatic, engagements. The Lomola was in Ghana. From Ghana, he came with his team to Nigeria. And all of this is just to see how they can mend fences.
Yes.
So he was playing out his script.
I have a comment.
So I wouldn't blame him for what he said.
I have a comment.
I say how.
Diplomatic.
It's called diplomacy.
Dr. Abati,
as bad as the situation is in the Middle East, they are still looking at diplomacy.
You see
as the way forward.
what we do is hypocrisy. It's not diplomacy.
Well,
these South Africans,
it's an established field of
study. They know that the true diplomacy will be justice. You can't be coming to say, let's fall in love with each other. Oji is reporting that they still were attacking Nigerians as at yesterday. Yeah. So your diplomacy is not in tandem with what is on ground in South Africa. Oji, yesterday, Ireti Bakari still sent me a message. How some South African news agency were declaring her a persona non grata.
Yes. But
that is still going on ground in South Africa.
This must end. This must end.
I mean, what are
South
we saying?
Africans were out on the streets on Tuesday, as reported by that Nigerian woman. But, I'd like to tie in all these stories together. Meanwhile, Grammy-winning South African singer Tyla has removed her Lagos show from her upcoming A-pop world tour after an outpouring of backlash over the ongoing xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. Tyla had made the announcement that her world tour in Lagos will take place on December 22nd on social media, and Nigerians reacted in droves, calling for a boycott of the concert, questioning how Tyla could perform in Lagos while staying silent about the violence against Nigerians in South Africa, including Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who called on the Nigeria Immigration Service and the federal government to review visa applications from South African artists and their entourages, invoking the principle of reciprocity in foreign policy. And I'll read her post on Facebook in part. Natasha wrote, "If it is confirmed that our Nigerian artist Aria Star and her team were denied entry visas to South Africa, leading to the cancellation of their engagements, then Nigeria should respond with equivalent measures until Nigerian citizens and artists are accorded fair and respectful treatment. This is not a call against Tyla as an individual. Rather, it is a call for Nigeria to uphold the principle of mutual respect that underpins international relations. Reciprocity is a recognized instrument of diplomacy. When our citizens face discriminatory or unjust treatment abroad, Nigeria must demonstrate that such actions carry corresponding consequences. Our foreign policy should protect the dignity of Nigerians everywhere and ensure that respect between nations is mutual, not one-sided. Viva Nigeria." And I also said Viva Nigeria when I read this post on X. There is the principle of, that's what I just read. There is the principle of reciprocity, really, at this point. And I'd like for you to chime in on that as well.
In 2019, Burna Boy was doing a tour. And because he had a public spat with AKA on the same xenophobic attacks, South Africans made a call that they should boycott his concert. In November of that year, they cancelled the concert because of mounting security concerns and also due to the fact that there were low ticket sales as a result of these boycotts. And when they cancelled the concert, they were rejoicing on social media, saying, yes, we will not have you. In this spirit of reciprocity, I think Nigerians and Nigeria has been spat on the face for too long by South Africa. And until we are able to respond aura for aura, as the Gen Z say, I don't think they will get the message. And so it's sad that it's now getting to this level, because I do agree with you that we cannot continue. Like, Africa will not move forward if two of its giants are at loggerheads.
Correct.
But in the same vein, Nigeria also deserves justice, and Nigerians deserve to be treated properly. And so that is why, until they address these concerns, you cannot come and enjoy, the last time Tyla was here, she enjoyed such warmth, welcoming people in Nigeria, and then they treat us badly in their country. That is unfair. And so while I'm sad that, this has escalated to this level, South Africa has to be serious about the way it is dealing with xenophobia. If Africa and Nigeria, I say Nigeria, does not stand up to it, we will not see an end to this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I like your point there. But for me, when I saw the story trending over social media, what I said was, I think Tyla has a responsibility to speak against this xenophobic attack. I know she's young, and a lot of artists don't like to tie their craft
to politics.
They don't like to tie their craft to politics. But I think for me, she is the face of Africa at this point when it comes to music. She has been given a Grammy Award. I'm just saying at this point, globally, she's been recognized as, the Afrobeat sensation, the first female artist and all of that, the youngest African artist. She has all of that to her name. And I think that it behooves on her to speak. This is my opinion. I believe it behooves on her to speak against, artists are known to use their platform to, make change, to create change. So advocacy, and this is all I had to say about that particular.
You made a great point.
In
all fairness to Tyla, I think it's a double-edged sword for her.
Yeah.
Because it's easy when you're advocating for something that is not your country, because there are also local sentiments in our country, despite the fact that it's bad, and also advocating because it relates to other country. So it's a very difficult one for her, and I understand why she might probably not want to speak about it.
I don't know about it being a country thing. I think it has
it's a country thing.
No, I'm talking about humanity. I'm talking about the killing of people. You can actually speak against that. That's all I'm saying.
But South Africans don't see it that way. The local folks that are perpetrating this act don't see humanity again.
I'm not justifying what they see. I'm making a point. I'm making a point. The role of an artist
in society.
It's the top balancing act.
She can be dramatic about it.
Yes, but it's difficult.
Without taking sides.
And she will be welcome to Nigeria, and this whole thing will quell the whole situation, because she is actually leading the young demographic of people that don't even know that we stood for South Africa, that we fought for South Africa. And you donated your money too, did you? Money to South Africans, and this is what we need to learn now. And I'd like to just quickly highlight comments that have already been made amid the escalating xenophobic crisis in South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday called on African leaders to work together to create economic opportunities across the continent, generating fierce debate on the continent. This is as South Africa's Minister of International Relations, Roland Lamola Rufai, who visited Abuja on Monday, declared that Nigerians who lost businesses during the xenophobic attacks can still pursue legal ownership of their abandoned assets, saying all hope is not lost. This is just really the summary of all of that.
Registered, and you have the papers.
Fantastic.
And now South Africa is saying conveniently that we should have shared responsibility to fight xenophobia.
Right.
No, we must first establish those who are guilty, and it's the South Africans that are guilty.
The South Africans are guilty.
Are we the ones killing
well, all
people
right.
on the streets?
Shall we now highlight this history-making moment in the Nigerian police force? Betty Otimeyin has officially become the first female Assistant Inspector General of Police to lead Zone 8, overseeing both Kogi and Kwara states. Speaking in Lokoja on Thursday, the new AIG thanked the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, for trusting her in this new role with a promise to tackle criminals head on. I saw you dancing, Ayo, of course. Congratulations on this new role and for setting an example for women within and outside the police force.
Fantastic.
As an Omolokpa, I am dancing.
Lovely,
yes,
nice
congratulations.
The women are taking over everywhere.
Yes, so I love
You've taken over the Bar Association.
We're doing well.
You are
in
now
Nigeria.
AIG.
Yes, sir.
You are in charge of the Supreme Court. You are in charge.
Tell us,
Women.
Next, you know, I'm giving her our president, first female president of Nigeria.
Women are no longer being marginalized under Tinubu administration.
All right, fantastic.
Women are being empowered.
All right, let me just highlight this one about women. Yes, let me just highlight. Congratulations to Betty, and we'll highlight this trending clip of a group of Anglican women doing a marching parade in a compound in the video, which started circulating on Thursday. Nigerians have been reacting in droves to how they turned a marching session to a dancing one. Let's take a look. Is this a match past Dr. Bati?
Women again.
Yes.
Women have also taken over the church.
I love the woman that was a match past. They've taken over. Yes, they've taken over the church.
Yes.
No, but we still saw the men, the priests saluting
The
them.
men were saluting.
Yes, I loved it.
It's a
I
women's
just
collaboration.
Yes, I wanted to
Fantastic.
cheer our viewers up. Now under milestones. Today, we remember the life of Nigeria's former Minister of Finance, the Sardinian Sokoto, and distinguished diplomat, Alhaji Abubakar Alhaji, who passed away on Thursday at the age of 85. Alhaji began his education in Kano before then taking his higher education abroad, studying at the Bournemouth College of Commerce, followed by the University of Reading in the United Kingdom, where he earned a degree in political economy. He returned to Nigeria, stepping into a career in the Nigerian civil service in 1964 and steadily rose up to the ranks to later serve as Minister of Finance during the administration of General Ibrahim Babangida, a career civil servant. He then became Sardinian Sokoto, one of the most revered titles in the Sokoto Caliphate, to work as a bridge between government, the traditional institution, and the people. In a statement this morning, President Tinubu described him as a titan of public service and a patriot whose intellectual depth left an indelible imprint on the nation's economic and political evolution. May his soul rest in peace. All right. We got the story, shockingly. He died on Thursday morning in Abuja at his residence, and obviously he's been buried already.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Popularly known as Triple A.
Triple A. All right. May his soul continue to rest in peace. We'll take our good news report. And it's a double dose of positive news from the world of Nigerian education. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is celebrating what he describes as one of his administration's most meaningful achievements, declaring that the absence of ASUU strikes since he took office is nothing short of an answered prayer. the president made these comments on Tuesday in Abuja, and it comes as the scenes coming out of Yobe State University this week tell their own story. A video showing students singing and dancing with visible, unfiltered joy after receiving 40,000 naira in upkeep allowances from the Nigerian Education Loan Fund for the months of June and July made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look.
Joy is coming, joy is coming. Dupa, Olua, joy is coming. Only early in the morning.
All right, no ASU strike. Joy is coming. Students receiving upkeep payments. Joy is here. Students receiving upkeep payments and university calendars running as they should for Nigerian families who lived through the devastating 8-month strike of 2022, the longest in ASU's history. These are not small wins. We wish every Nigerian a successful academic journey. Every Nigerian student, really, joy is here. We don't have time to take our final story. I would have loved to highlight our final story, and it is from Grammy-nominated star Davido, who released his album. Yes, he will win his own very soon. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. Here we have I Know Who I Be, the first single from Davido. Enjoy it, and I'll see you all next week.
I know who I be. Who am I? I'm a bad guy. My designer.